Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Peyton with his movie, Plantasy. Let's take another clip.
Breathe in and breathe out. Synthesize your minerals. Pull them up from your roots and through your stem. Feel the sunlight, the love. You are divine. You are growing. You are sprouting. You are blooming into the most beautiful symbol of sanctity that Mother Earth.
Firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. Really glad to have you here. Thank you for bringing this. I've got so many questions to this film, but thank you very much. And for those that haven't seen Plantasy, tell us a little bit about the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Plantasy is a short film about an agoraphobic woman who is part plant, part human, and she has her water supply shut off, so she's forced to face the outside world or suffer the consequences.
It's a really, really brilliant story, actually. Like, I was really, really intrigued with it. I think that's also, having agoraphobia is a really hard thing. It's a very deep sign of depression, and I think the way it was made into the film was really, really clever and just kind of very important, actually, because I think a lot of people have developed that, especially since like post-pandemic. So brilliant idea. And then delving this with plants was so fascinating, and obviously being half planted, human or person. Where did this inspiration come from? Where did this all begin?
Yeah, absolutely. The inspiration initially, the short of it, was that my partner and I, who is a producer and writer on the film, we were in her apartment just kind of brainstorming different short film ideas, and she came up with the idea for someone that had a kind of OCD-like condition in which they constantly need to have their clothes wet. And we also had like the agoraphobia aspect of it too, so that she didn't want to be outside at that point. And then we, from there, kind of developed it into the plant idea, because it just kind of gave it a little bit more structure and created the world a little bit more from there. And then also the second part of it was us developing the script kind of happened around the time that there was the kind of like outrage going on with the casting with The Little Mermaid. And we just, in a kind of response to that, wanted to create a space for a story that was, having an African-American woman as the lead, that was a fantasy story, because I feel like African-American people don't often have a space in the world of fantasy. So we wanted to create that space for them, and not have it, be based on any sort of other source material. Just have it be something that's original and have it stand on its own.
And you had obviously a fantastic actor to lead the way with that story as well. She was amazing. We'll come on to your wonderful cast. But that's really glad, and thank you for sharing that as well, because it is super important. It's important to us at New Filmmakers to celebrate stories as well like that. But I was going to say, just adding to what you were just kind of saying, I think, firstly, you and your partner have got great imaginations. Like, my God, like I was like, this is a brilliant idea. And it must have been really kind of interesting developing that as well, because obviously, we as the audience member is like finding more and more about this character. How did you go about like developing this script? Because obviously, it wasn't a lot of dialogue, and so all of that sort of stuff. How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was. Well, we had the first draft of the script was very bare bones, and we knew essentially the course of how we wanted the plot to go. We knew that it wanted to have it start in the bathroom, have her go through her self-care routine to kind of, show her internal struggles, and we had the ending in mind too. So we had that entire part outlined. And through going through the script and revising it multiple times, what sort of came from that was just adding those small details. And also peperomia, the plant that is her friend in the story. She didn't have as big of a presence in the earlier drafts of the script, and whenever we'd show it to people, they would constantly be like, "You need to, we want to see more peperomia." So that was something that we really wanted to concentrate on too, is really build the relationship between peperomia and Jade. But it was just going through, revision after revision, and we kept trying to add as much color to this world as possible and still keep it, relatively short.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much color. There's so many sort of actually things that I've sort of taken experience from your film, because firstly, actually, I'm one of those people that talk to my plants. I do, help them grow. My sunflowers. Oh, yeah. But I think also just that kind of feeling of like that kind of isolation and that whole feeling of just feeling kind of essentially trapped in your own home, in your own skin, in your own body, wherever you're at. And I thought you just kind of displayed that story like really well for the context of this particular character. Going into that part of it, like, because I think definitely it's something in society that is really actually blown up, this agoraphobia, because around the world, because I think since everything we went through the last few years, I think people are just, not interacting the same way or as much. How did you go about that kind of process? Was there any sort of research or development, or did you just kind of, because your character you developed, it really felt like it was painful for her to go outside. Like, she did such a great job.
Yeah, I think a lot of that can be just attributed to the actress.
Yeah.
Lindsay Conway. She was brilliant, and the way that she displayed the subtleties of the fear and everything to me was just spot on. But in regards to, Katie and I kind of developing that for the screenplay, we didn't do too much research, but we're both pretty introverted people, so I think that probably.
Yeah, that's naturally revolves in. Yeah. I know. We should be grateful we even came out today. So no, but it really, there's the subtleties, and I think Lindsay did a fantastic job, honestly, in just kind of, like, I felt like, please don't go outside. No, don't do it. You really left us in those moments. And again, I love how you've mixed that with fantasy as well, and what kind of elements in terms of like how you wanted to shoot it, like what was your kind of journey and how you wanted the film to look? Because I felt like I knew I was in a house, but I felt like it was like there was just more magical elements involved, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
What was that process like?
We had a kind of a mood board for it, and we wanted it to be very colorful, and we wanted it to be that 1/6 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And what was just important for us was really creating a world that felt like its own thing and felt tangible. And the main influences for me that I felt like it was kind of like a hybrid of these different influences, but it was The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Just the magical kind of, because that film has a lot of surrealistic elements that I think are, I don't know, just kind of lend itself really well to the magic of the story.
Yeah.
And the other two influences were Pedro Almodovar films. Yeah, having just the way he uses color in his film, I think is just. He's personally my favorite director, so I think there was a lot of that kind of, bled into the story and into the direction. You really did your color. I was going to actually say I really actually enjoyed the kind of use of color that you used, and it's particularly on a big screen as well. It really just like popped as well, which was just really, really great. What have you like in this particular film, in this particular experience? It's funny about how you actually created the house felt like the world. Like it just felt like a house. It felt like this world you'd kind of created, which was very clever. You just completely, I was along with it in this fantasy. What was kind of looking back at it, what was kind of maybe some of the bigger the challenges you had, or things that you overcame, or even surprises that came out of this particular production? Yeah, actually the biggest challenge from it came from booking the house in and of itself. Yeah. Because the house to me is essentially a character in the story.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And it was super important for us to not, have a house with just white walls everywhere, because I know that's as an actor, I've been a part of films and have seen, when people don't give the set design the attention it needs, and it's just a blank white wall, it can really kind of put a damper on the world of the story.
Absolutely.
So when we found that house we found on Gigster, and
really?
Yes, and when we found it there, it was like, this is the house. Like it has everything we need. It has a red bathroom, which we thought was just
it was a great bathroom. Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And it was, the woman had a student production on it a couple weeks before we reached out to her, and I guess they damaged the property.
Oh wow!
So she said no to us initially.
She was like saying, "You're like, we'll look up."
I know. I was.
Please.
I spent the next. It took about a month to convince her, and it was just a back and forth with her, a little bit of begging and really pleading my case and assuring her that we were going to take care of the property, and she ended up agreeing to it, which was a blessing.
How long was that shoot then in the full frame?
It was 2 days.
2 days, yeah. So Amazing what you can do in 48 hours, isn't it?
I know.
Prepping for a year, but what you can do
Yeah.
in production 48 hours. And you know, again, I'm so curious because it's always interesting when you're mixing, you know, fantasy with the essence of reality, with the essence of trauma, with the essence of, you know, all these different things. What was the reaction been like for you taking this around?
Yeah, it's been surreal just seeing people's kind of different reactions to it. What's always very nice is when people see kind of notice the smaller details of things, and when they bring that to my attention, it always is a pleasure to, you know that went noticed. But yeah, for the most part, it seems like it's been connecting with audiences, which is, you know, the goal ultimately.
And you know, I think one of the things that, you know, is a really kind of importance of sort of morality really is that, you know, obviously that interaction with him outside and just, you know, it can take one person or one smile or something that can like make you feel alive again, you know, and give you the confidence and just the importance actually of human interaction. And like it's happened with this guy and you know, and that just helped her, you know. And I think that was just the really beautiful essence of hope he kind of gave in this fantasy world that you created for us. So yeah, loved that in terms of moments. Peyton, where are you taking us next? Are we going implants? Or where are we going next with your next projects with your partner as well?
Yeah, we're developing a short film called Momo.
Okay.
And it's based on a friend of mine's feature that he wrote that was about his relationship with his Tibetan grandmother.
Amazing.
And yeah, it's essentially about this young child and his relationship with his grandmother, and they're left alone on the first day of summer. And his grandmother has this infatuation with his ant farm. And the film has some aspects of magical realism to it, which I guess you know, people will have to see to kind of see it come to life. But yeah, I'm very excited to get working on it.
So you're definitely going to delve us into the imaginations and the sort of fantasy magical world again.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah, amazing. Well, listen, we're very grateful to have you part of our film festival. Thank you to all of your cast and crew of Plantasy as well. And yes, please keep writing and creating imaginations so we can delve into more of your worlds and films. So thank you very much, Peyton. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Peyton, everybody.